I found out something. One of the gifts that God has given me is the gift of dream interpretation. And here's what I found out, and I defy you to correct it. Nowhere in the Bible, from Genesis to Revelations, did God ever give a dream to somebody who had somebody in the bed with him. Every time he gives a significant dream to somebody, they are sleeping by themselves. Maybe it's while it is that you are alone, that God needs to speak to you. Use this loneliness or this moment of solitude or being singular to your advantage. What is God trying to show you? What is he trying to expose to you? What is he directing you towards? Something significant is getting ready to happen, and maybe you won't understand the full gravity and the totality of it until you got to grapple with it by yourself. Loneliness is an incredible instrument or a terrible weapon. I better say it again. Loneliness is an incredible instrument or a terrible weapon. Sean Puffy Combs is in solitary confinement for most of the day while he is in jail in New York. And every hour they have to send somebody just to do a mental health check. What happens for those of you who are in apartments, in townhouses, in cubicles by yourself and nobody is checking on you? You had to check for yourself. In the rise of TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and X and Threads, we are more connected and we're more lonely. We are invested in other people's lives, in other people's trips, in other people's acquisitions, in other people's wardrobes, but we don't have any connection. The old churches, the church that we used to grow up in, used to have something that they don't even have anymore. Fellowship hall. Because nobody is staying to connect. Everybody's getting worship and they are leaving. I want you in this holiday season to be intentional to make connection. Don't just text people. Go outside of your comfort zone and FaceTime people. Go outside of what it is that you do and go into places of public space. I know you saved. Go to a jazz club. It's all right. Or order yourself some sets of water. Go to a comedy club. For the first time in a long time, I actually went to a movie theater. The Bible says it ain't good for you to be alone. Find a way for you to be connected. Facebook has so many different special niche interest groups. Dads with motorcycles, mothers who don't like to cook, sons who have lost their mother, those who have gone through divorce. Find your interest group, and in the words of Seth, here it is, build your tribe. A lot of us are lonely because we're holding on to groups that we have outgrown. You can forgive them, but it doesn't mean you have to stay connected to them. The Bible says that while Jesus was on the cross, he said, Father, forgive them. But when he rose 3 days later and came back into Jerusalem, he didn't go check on any of the people who tried to crucify him. It's all right to separate, but it is an urgent imperative that you learn how to connect. Connect on the things that give you fire. Connect on the things, here it is, that push you towards your goal. Connect towards the things that make you sharper than what it is that you were before. The Bible says iron sharpens iron, and a lot of you are dull because you're rubbing up against plastic knives. People who cannot amplify your assets, but they divide your deficits and make you weaker than what you were before. Be careful of people that before you answer the phone, you got to take a deep breath. Here they go. It is all right to leave people on red, just like that book you bought last year that you have not finished. Leave it on red. I got so frustrated the other day. I was on my Explore page of Instagram because I couldn't sleep one night, and I realized it was the same thing. How many tennis shoes I'm going to look at? How many cars I'm going to look at? How many watches am I going to look at? And I remember something that Bishop Norman Wagner said many years ago before his transition. He said, the danger about television is it tells you somebody else's vision. Did you hear that? Television tells you somebody else's vision and robs you of your imagination. Governor DeSantis in Florida is doing something that maybe some people should look at. And that is starting January 1st. If you live in the state of Florida and you are under 14, you can no longer have access to social media. And the churches that are Pentecostal and apostolic and charismatic, the first of the year, a whole lot of churches fast, but they only do it from food. I want you to consider fasting from text message, fasting from Netflix, fasting from Twitter, fasting from Instagram. Pastor Howard John Wesley at Alpha Street Baptist Church says you never know what is a sacrifice until you got to give something up. What are you prepared to give up? What are you prepared to walk away from? And it may be people, places, or even things. All of that, y'all, was just dealing with Mary.